How are you, Peter?
Rich, everything's going great. How about you?
I am doing great. And I understand. Look, the move that you made. I just know how I was associated with ESPN for so long. It just felt strange, even though I was thrilled to be with NFL Network when that happened. What's going through your temples right now, Peter?
I thought I might be a little bit more emotional than I have been. Last Thursday, when I told my staff, that was an emotional couple of hours. But since then, I have been pretty much, well, life goes on, let's go. Nothing lasts forever. Nothing should last forever. And somebody's going to come along and do it better than I did it. And, I don't ever feel like people are, either irreplaceable or whatever. I just feel like there's going to be a next. It's going to be really good. And honestly, Rich, I got 9 people who I have worked with for a few years now at the MMQB and who also have roles at Sports Illustrated. And those 9 people, their average age is 30 years old. And they're ready. They deserve to have the kind of chances that I've had over the years. So there was a lot that went into this, including the fact that the 24/7 nature of this job it just never ends. And I've become less and less a fan of that over the last couple of years. So I just think it's the right time, and it's a good time for me to make a move.
And is the MMQB going to still roll on?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll exist, and they will continue to do great things.
And where does your MMQB, where can it be read this fall, for those who may not know, Peter?
Well, it's going to be
July.
It's going to be at NBCSports.com in some way. I've not really discussed that with him, Rich. I mean, Rick Cordella, who manages the digital space over there, one of the reasons I'm doing this is I think Rick Cordell is brilliant when it comes to digital media. And so quite honestly, my feeling is whatever Rick tells me is going to get us the most traffic and do the most good, that's what I'm going to do. Because he knows 58 times more than I do about what space.
Well, I had a conversation with Bob Lee last hour, Peter, after he won his first ever Emmy Award for studio hosting.
That's fantastic.
I know,
yeah.
Right? And how he was talking about if something can't be fit on a phone in our day and age of the visual medium, then it's not worth its salt in the eyes of many who run the businesses of sports broadcasting. Do you think that there's writing on the wall about the written word digitally, Peter?
Well, I mean, I think one of the reasons why I have been so bullish on making sure that that the MMQB and my column have been well read, and we've spent a lot of time, energy, resources, and money on those is because I just think eventually this is how everybody is going to read. This is how everybody is going to get the news on the phone, on the tablet, on the laptop. And so I'm bad at predicting the future, but I think it's been very, very clear for a long time that, the days of, I sit with my wife every morning in New York and I read 3 newspapers in my hand. And honestly, that I assume that I'm going to be the last generation to do that.
Peter King here on the Rich Eisen Show. So if you're poor at predicting the future, should I not ask you about the Odell Beckham contract and how John Mara said basically it'll get done when it gets done, and if it doesn't, it doesn't, in the short order?
I mean, the contract, I'm pretty sure is going to get done, Rich. I'd be very surprised if it doesn't get done. I think the thing about Beckham is I think Pat Shurmur and Dave Gettleman want to be around him before they pay him a contract that's more than they've ever paid Eli Manning. And I don't blame them in the least. I think it's a smart way to go. But and I think he will mostly be on his best behavior over the next few months, and the contract will get done.
Well, the issue is, though, is he might not be around them very much because there is no contract, Peter, right? And then when he plays, and that's usually when the Beckham crucible crops up in anything that's negative based on a touchdown celebration or a moment during a game.
Urinating in the end zone?
Well, yeah, I mean, in all honesty, that usually it's the playing season whenever something might crop up with Odell Beckham. The video, the 3 seconds that happened in a Paris hotel room is kind of the outlier involving OBJ.
I just think this, the New York Giants put up with Lawrence Taylor for years through a drug suspension, through a lot of other things happening in the wee hours that we never knew about, I'm sure. They put up with a lot with him. They haven't put up with it nearly as much with Odell Beckham. And I'm just going to say this. The thing about Beckham that I think everybody who loves football, and particularly the people who love the New York Giants, everybody needs to be cognizant of one fact, and that is that Odell Beckham is not a guy who gets arrested. He's not a guy who, is a DWI guy. He's not, he's an unusual person who sometimes finds it hard, I think, to live within the strictures of a team. But that doesn't mean that you can't make a long-term marriage with him. And so my feeling, through all of this has been, look, there have been times where I say, get rid of this guy. But most often I feel like the talent is there. The talent is too good. And the Giants' history is to put up with very talented people who are a handful to handle.
And Peter King joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. The Brady Met Gala outfit has knocked the Brady pleading the fifth off the Brady radar screen. Okay, but where does everything stand here? I mean, what is smoke? What is fire with New England Brady Belichick craft?
I've not talked to Brady this offseason, so all I can do is read tea leaves like everybody else from somebody who knows Brady a little. And that is, Tom Brady's about to be 41 years old. He's coming off a season where he won the MVP at age 40. He had one of the best years of his life. He led his team to a Super Bowl. This is my feeling. This is not any message from Brady. This is not anything other than what I think. What I think is that Tom Brady probably is a little bit tired after leading the Patriots to 8 Super Bowls. He's probably a little bit tired of being treated like Johnny Foxborough, the second year, everything to prove quarterback. That's just my feeling. I don't know that, but I think that's probably how I would be feeling if I had accomplished what he did and was being treated the way apparently he's being treated, which is just like everybody else on the roster.
Right, and that goes back to the trainer, right? That the trainer, that's what
Bill Belichick has done some things with Alex Guerrero that it seems anyway like Tom Brady chafes at. But at the end of the day, Rich, I say this: Bill Parcells told Daily Myers in the Athletic yesterday or today that really, this is just off-season crapola, basically. And that's the way I feel about this, Rich, is that when Tom Brady goes to whatever the mandatory camp is, I don't even know when it is, sometime in May, late May, I think. When he goes to that camp, he's going to go, and as usual, he's going to be the hardest worker in the place. When he goes to training camp, he's going to set an example for every one of the 21-year-old kids who shows up that weekend. So the way I feel about it is that there's so much we cover in the off season that once Labor Day weekend rolls around, we say, what does that mean? Absolutely nothing. And I've said this for a long time. Never one time ever have I heard somebody who, for instance, who at the scouting combine doesn't do X number of drills and you've got or doesn't work out and says, I'll work out on my pro day, and doesn't do something, and the NFL teams are grousing about it. And I've never one time on draft day then heard a team say, well, the reason we didn't take this guy is because he wouldn't work out for us. I mean, there's so much stuff that happens in the off season that is gorgonzola.
So what is it? Is it crapola or gorgonzola, Peter? I mean, let's settle it. Okay.
Both. I love using both. And
well,
maybe it'll be shinola if we go too long.
Well, then give me your one last one then. One last one for you before I let you go into that Good Wednesday. The Ben Roethlisberger, Mason Rudolph situation, if you will, where Ben did not just essentially say, hey, I haven't spoken to the kid yet, but I'll welcome him to the team. I'm just focused on year whatever it is for me, and I just want to win more Super Bowls here. He basically talked about how surprised he was and how it's not, and he made an offhand joke that fell flat about, that he'll just point to the playbook based on the fact that Mason Rudolph said it's not his job, Ben's job, to tutor him. It just seems a lot of unnecessary gorgonzola right there, Peter.
I mean, look, I don't know if Ben Roethlisberger actually feels that way, and if that's the way he's going to be. But if he is, I think it's Bush League myself. I mean, Robert Klemko at the MMQB this week wrote about how much Tommy Maddox helped him and how Ben Roethlisberger thanked Tommy Maddox profusely after he helped him. Fill it, please. And I just think at some point, Roethlisberger is going to realize 10025. I think Roethlisberger is going to realize at some point that it's okay to help somebody. It really is, because you know what? That's what we're here for. You're here to make the road travelable for the person who comes after you. And Mason Rudolph is not here to take Ben Roethlisberger's job. Mason Rudolph is here to train for the point when Ben Roethlisberger doesn't play anymore. I mean, I am not a fan of how Roethlisberger handled that at all.
Well, and Peter, the testimonials that everybody was tweeting out from your former staff at the MMQB about how you were helping pay it forward with them means you walk the walk of the talk that you just made. And I just wanted to say thank you for your years at the MMQB, and I look forward to the turning the page, Peter. I look forward to that.
Hey, thanks a million, Rich. Really, really appreciate it. It's been great there. It'll be great here. And
great.
And life will go on, and thank you.
You bet. That's Peter King.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.